This is LBC from Global, leading Britain's conversation with Nick Abbott.
Oh, hello.
Well, let's get back to it.
Parts of the country woke up to frost this morning because it went down to -6 centigrade overnight, and for the weekend ahead, heavy showers are set to soak Britain again. It comes as the Met Office also warned that thunderstorms could strike the UK next week. Blimey. Winds coming in from the Arctic and the North Sea sliced through whatever you were wearing, unless your coat was made of concrete. Bloomin' freezing out there. Temperatures have been up to 6 degrees below the average for late April, and it is all thanks to global warming.
Thank you.
And the strong winds and the cold air will be replaced this weekend with strong winds and cold air.
Oh, fabulous.
Tonight, a band of thicker cloud and outbreaks of rain will move slowly northwards from the south. On Saturday, sleet and hill snow is expected in some regions. Snow?
Oh, no.
Next week, temperatures may start to lift a bit, but there could be storms with thunder, lightning, very, very frightening. Of course, listeners in Glasgow will get their own weather, just checking for you while you wait. Aha. Well, believe it or not, it is not raining at the minute, but it will go down to -1 tonight. Good grief. Raining tomorrow and... What? Not raining on Sunday. Rubbish. Raining on Monday and very cloudy on Tuesday. No rain. Wednesday, rain. Thursday, no rain. Friday, sun. What? You're actually going to see the sun on Friday. You want to write that down in your diaries. Thereafter, though, normal services resumed, and it'll be raining on Saturday the 4th, and on the Sunday, and raining on the Monday, and raining on Tuesday, and raining on Wednesday, and raining on Thursday, and every day for the rest of your lives. Oh, well, never mind. Would you like to hear the long-range forecast for the next 4 weeks?
No.
I don't blame you. Right, next 2 weeks, until the end of the first week in May. May! Blimey, it's May already. It's practically winter, and Jesus' birthday's come around again. I can't believe it. At first, this is the next couple of weeks, at first, rain, followed by rain, which will be superseded by showers and rain. Temperatures will go up a bit before going right back down again. And then the middle 2 weeks of May. Well now, it's getting serious, isn't it? Good luck, everyone. Fingers crossed. Middle 2 weeks of May. Spells of wetter weather here and there and everywhere, baby. Temperatures probably near average. Temperatures probably near average? Oh, I suppose we're going to have to take it, aren't we? Great that the King is back. He's back doing all of the things that we couldn't get by without him doing, like, all of the things that he does, like, I've got absolutely no idea. Joanne says, Nick, have you seen Erin Brockovich? She is the one who championed the poison waters in America. No, I don't think so. I don't think she did that, no. She championed the poison waters in America? No. Joanne says, do you think that we need someone like her here? Or maybe we, the little people...
The little people.
Not leprechauns. Can help champion Fergal Sharkey more to help clean up our waters. That way force a payout from the government to the people whose health has been affected by our poor standards of rivers and lakes.
Warning, warning.
Do not get in a body of water in this country that is not surrounded by tiles. And even then think twice. Dave says, I think Starmer has definitely cracked it. An opinion poll based on GB News viewers yesterday, carried out by JL Partners, has Labour at 38%, the Conservatives on 28%, and Reform on 20%. Good grief. If Labour are winning with those viewers, then the game is definitely up. Fishy Sunak can always fall back on promoting his range of Norman Wisdom retro wear after the election. It's Norman Wisdom retro wear. You want to get on that, Fishy?
I am totally 100% on it.
He is 100% on that retro Norman Wisdom wear. And Hannah says the class of 2019 government was all about get Brexit done. Ain't that right, Bodge?
Yeah. Wait a minute.
But what they really meant was get the country done. And they're still not done bleeping up the country, says Hannah.
Disgusting.
Using builder's language there, Hannah. You should be ashamed of yourself. Stu says Liz Truss's inability to book a right way... what? My inability to read Sue's text about Liz Truss's inability to hold a book the right way up might explain how I am not suited to do this show. Stu texts, Liz Truss's inability to hold a book the right way up may explain how she crashed the economy. If only she could hold books the right way... Oh, never mind. I can't be bothered. Can you, Liz?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. If at first you don't succeed, give up. That's my credo. Archie says, I think the fellow in charge of the SNP could be at the job centre on Monday morning. What a stupid thing to do, says Archie. Well, which thing? Shall we talk about Chris Philp?
Yes.
Okay then. Okay then. Chris Philp. Well, I'll talk about that in a minute. First of all, here is a person who's hanging on the telephone like Blondie. Solihull, Callum.
Oh, God, I can't believe it got through so quick. Thanks for taking my call, Nick.
Thanks for making your call, Callum.
I've been waiting all week to speak to you about this.
Oh, yes.
So, I'm currently, if you hear any background noise, I'm in a taxi on the way into town.
Righto.
So,
going to do anything exciting?
Lots of alcohol.
Ah, refreshment. Booze. Yes.
So, the Rwanda bill. Nobody actually believes that it's going to work. Rishi Sunak doesn't even believe that it's going to work.
He's been waiting all week to talk to me, and then the moment of his talking, he gets cut off before he's even said anything. Nothing works in this country anymore. Have you noticed? I keep saying this. I will get calls tonight, probably from different countries, from many thousands of miles away, and it will sound as though they are talking to me from next door. I then get a call from a person who's just up the road there, and it will sound as though they're calling me from a submarine. Why doesn't anything work in this country anymore? I mean, I really can't fathom how mobile phone signals can come in better from, let's say, China, than they do here. Because aren't they using our infrastructure once they get here? Or is it all Chinesey? I'm mystified about that. You can call me Mr. Fide. Archie says, I think the fella in charge of the... No, read that one. Have you heard about Stu? Stu texted and said, Liz Truss's inability to hold a book the right way up may explain how she crashed the economy. If she could only hold books the right way round, we'd all be rich by now. Wow, that is such a hard thing to say. You try that. If she could only hold books the right way round, we'd all be rich by now. Wow, my lips are aching just saying that. It's like a slalom. You know, when skiers do the slalom, they just go left and right and left and right and left and right and left and right. That's how my lips felt just now, trying to negotiate that sentence. If she could only hold books the right way round, we'd all be... Were you trying to kill me, Stu? I'll try that one later. I'll take a run up at it. Edward says, Rishi Sunak is a man of straw. Each time I hear his pathetic voice, his pathetic voice, well, which one? His tone of faux sincerity, that one? Or when he gets angry and he puts on his best rat-like look? Which voice are you talking about there, Edward? He says, each time I hear his pathetic voice, I wish we could be in an era of silent films with written cards explaining the plot, of which he has lost. There's Edward tying himself up into knots trying to construct that last sentence there. Oh, there was a semicolon in the middle of that. Can you believe that?
No.
Yeah. I need to be... in order to do this show, you really need to be a trained professional. Don't you try this at home. I'm an expert. Stu text, Liz Truss's inability to hold a book the right way up may explain how she crashed the economy. If she could only hold books the right way round, we'd all... It's impossible. You can't do it. Did you actually think this through, Stu, before you rushed off this text? This is a very damaging piece of text that you've texted. I mean, I'm lucky to be alive right now. I've tried that like 5 times. I still haven't got it. If she could only hold books the right way round, we'd all be rich by... Martin texts, when Donald Trump uses his derogatory names, Sleepy Joe, etc., I find it childish and disrespectful. However, I did think that Angela Rayner calling the PM a pint-sized loser just seemed like a great comedic line. I'm still laughing, says Martin. Well, I'll wipe the laugh off your face then, Martin, and inform you that it was actually Nadine Dorris' line, apparently. What? Yes, you're laughing with, not at, Nadine Dorris. Yeah, that shut you up, didn't it?
This is LBC with Nick Abbott. Call 0345 6060 973. Tweet at LBC. Text 84850.
You're joking.
0345 6060 973. I know that bloke who called in right at the beginning of the show, he says he'd been waiting all week long to talk to me. He didn't bother calling back. All week long he's been waiting to speak to me, and at the first impediment he just gave up. He got cut off momentarily and he thought, right, that's it. Unless he crashed, of course. That is a possibility, yeah. I'm blaming the Audi driver, regardless of what the circumstance is. Croydon, hello, Mike.
Hi, Nick. How you doing?
Yes, good, thanks.
Excellent. Right. You're always talking about how this government is cutting everything to the bone, and that we know it's true. You and James O'Brien.
Me and James O'Brien, yes.
I love both of you because somebody needs to tell the truth, right? There's something I've learned today, or yesterday rather, as a driver, right? I'm a trucker or a busman. I'm not going to specify which.
Well, which is it?
I'm not going to specify. I drive for a living, right? Until recently, there was a government department which was under the Department of Transport called VOSA. I didn't realise it.
VOSA. How do you spell it?
Yeah. Good one, right? Now, what they were in charge of is making sure that professional drivers, truckers and busmen and God knows who else who's actually driving great big things on the street are not breaking the rules with regard to hours for safety's sake.
Oh, yes.
Now, what's happened is that used to be a government department that got X amount of million from the Department of Transport up until 2014. And the Conservative government, quietly and without a lot of people noticing, including myself who works in the industry, they scrapped it. Now, the replacement agency that does what they used to do is entirely funded by fines levied on those that they catch breaking the rules, which I think is incredible. They used to be paid to watch out for people breaking the rules.
Right.
Now they're only funded by the people that they catch breaking the rules, Nick.
Right, so that does imply that it is in their interests to catch people breaking the rules and to make the rules as complicated and opaque as possible, thereby widening the net.
Yeah, but isn't it insane that they're not prepared to put a penny in? I think it's crazy, and I've only just learnt this. They did it in 2014, so I've had 10 years to know this is what they've done to the industry I work in, and I found out yesterday, Nick.
Blimey, that says not much that's good about you, Mike. I fear for the passengers in the back of your bus or lorry.
Passengers in my lorry. No, I haven't been to France recently.
Right, okay, just checking.
Anywhere else.
Just checking.
Yeah. I thought you'd like to know that, though, because you're talking about how everything's being stripped back. That happened without most of the people in the industry even knowing it.
Right, well, I am stunned. If I understood what you just said, I'd be outraged.
Well, good.
Thanks a lot, Mike. Keep your eyes peeled at all times. Tristan says, in response to Labour's pledge that they will renationalise the railways if they win the next election, the Conservative Party have announced that in the interest of public safety, they are postponing general elections for the foreseeable future in a campaign that they call Stopping the Votes. Stopping the Votes. Yeah, it is number one priority.
It's the country's number one priority. It's my number one priority up and down the country, and that will be our focus.
He's gripping it.
I'm gripping it.
He is gripping it right now. As I speak, he is gripping it. Kevin says, what's the weather in Edinburgh? No one cares, Kevin. Peter says, Sunak's swimming pool should be filled with the UK river's water. See how he likes it. Absolutely, yes, correctamundo. Rishi Sunak's swimming pool should be filled with water from our rivers. You know, the rivers with chunks in them. All over him. There you are, wash that off. John says, what does this country have against horses? First they want horse racing banned. Now they want armed forces horses banned. What'll be next? Banning pet dogs and cats due to their slavery, says John. Well, dogs might be, if you screwed your eyes really tight, you could see that dogs would be could be called slaves, but cats, I'm afraid not, no. We are the slaves to cats. Cats think of us as their pets, not the other way around. Let's see now. Cambridge, Hassan.
Hi, Nick. I've been waiting all week for this call because, you know, there was this exciting time where all these people dressed up in St. George cross flags.
And then a mini riot ensued, as per, yes.
And then they went, and I think there were 6 arrests for 1,000 of them.
Mm-hmm.
If this was the number for the Palestine protest, there would be literally 10,000 arrests per capita.
Exactly. The Prime Minister will be taking Boris Johnson's Waffen Squirter 9000s out of storage, and he'll be hosing those people off the streets.
Yeah. Absolutely. And then I think then the week got even better after watching the Question Time performance of the Tory minister, because he was confusing Rwanda with Congo.
Well, he was confusing, and confused, yes.
Yeah, but Congo is the size of Western Europe. It's bigger. The population is 100 million people. So it's not a small country that nobody knows about. It's one of the biggest countries in the world.
Yes.
Right? And for somebody who has been responsible, I think he was even an immigration minister for a while. So you can just imagine
I don't know about that. Was he immigration minister? I know he worked in the Treasury, and now he's head of policing, or something of that order. I mean, what could possibly go wrong? He's a minister for policing. We're all perfectly safe.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And again, I mean, so this, last week there was all this crisis about Gideon Falter, who wanted to
cross the road.
Was complaining. Yeah. Exactly, he wanted to cross the road. And I was thinking, if I suddenly wanted to cross the road in the St. George's March, wearing my traditional Pakistani kulta
I wish you the best of luck. Have your affairs in order, Hassan.
No, exactly. And some of them even hit a horse. Can you imagine? So I don't know how many bonus points they get because of hitting a horse. But
bonus points.
Completely different.
Bonus points for hitting a horse. No, I don't think so. It's not like one of those weird video games that the kids are obsessed about. No.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, but I think it's just shocking. So it's been an eventful week, so we're glad to have you back.
All right. Thanks a lot, Hassan. Are you genuinely shocked, though, at the events of the week?
No,
not really.
Every week gets worse and worse, and it's like a downward spiral where we just keep on speeding up to oblivion.
It's a swirling eddy of doom that we're caught in. Yeah. All right. Thanks a lot, Hassan. Hassan's very upset, but he's not surprised that he's upset. It's just, par for the course. Just think the worst, and it will probably happen. I think that should be the Tory party's campaign slogan. If they can fit it into 3 words, then they're on a winner. Just think the worst, and it will probably happen. Vote Conservative. How could you fit that into 3 words? 4 tops. There you are. That's a little task that I've set you. You could win a major prize. Major prize is not available. Chris says, when Tichy Suit Size is back from his Eastern European tour, he will address Angela Rayner's inappropriate PMQ insult by looking Rayner straight in the eye by standing on his wallet. Yeah, that's a James Cleverly line. I'll get to him in a while. I have detailed files, don't you worry about that.
Affirmative.
Let's see now. Winchester. Hello, Simon.
Nick.
Simon.
I have a tale to tell you.
Right.
And I think publicly on the wireless, you will pour scorn all over me.
I'll be a scorn pourer.
Yes, but secretly you'll think it's quite amusing.
Go ahead.
Now, what I usually have to put up with around around elections is the banners and the flags and the
leaflets. Ugh.
Well, in this instance, it's just the stuff that people put up outside their house. You know?
Oh, right.
And because of the area where I am, it's either going to be blue or orange. There is no red.
Right.
Anyway, this time around, what I've noticed is that in one of the little villages, there is very much a lack of blue. And
well, I think you'll find that on the Conservative Party's own leaflets, there's a lack of blue.
Yeah,
they're colouring them green in order to, I don't know, associate themselves with something that's nice.
Yeah, that's very true. Anyway, so there was 3 houses that had blue flags outside.
Yeah.
And the first night I went past, I was annoyed about that because I'm like, after everything they've done, right? So
yes.
The second night I drove past because it's on my route home. Second night I drove past and I was doubly annoyed because I'm thinking, I cannot believe the audacity.
Yes. Who are these people exactly?
Well, here's where the scorn's going to come in, right?
Go on.
But I think you'll find it secretly funny. Third night I nicked them all.
Uh-oh.
Drove off and then replaced them with orange ones.
No, I don't think you should do that, Simon.
And I would love to have seen their reaction.
Well, yeah, I can imagine. Did you also rearrange their gnomes on their front garden?
Yeah.
And if you put them all in the exact same place, then it will appear as though, because underneath the gnome will be a patch of bare grass. So you can't just shuffle them around a bit. You have to put them in exactly the same place as the gnome that you're replacing, but you just move them about a bit, then that will confuse them greatly.
Well, I'm sure that waking up to see orange flags outside there would have. I mean, they've all gone now, but they haven't been replaced with more blue. So I was feeling quite smug, thinking, yeah. There you go.
All right. Okay. Well, thanks for passing that information on, Simon. We do not recommend that you do that. Don't interfere with other people's stuff, even if it is coloured blue. Tony says, did you hear Angela Rayner this week? Pretty offensive to pints, wasn't it? Does anybody have any sympathy at all for Rishi Sunak?
No.
Just checking. I mean, even a little bit.
No.
No. Another Tony, a completely different Tony, says, did you hear Angela Rayner this week? Pretty offensive to the Great British Pints, wasn't it? That sounds like the same Tony to me. How unpatriotic of her to compare the perfect British pint to our prime miniature, says a completely different Tony, supposedly. Not sure I believe that. Where are we now? Oh, so many messages. How do they get my number? Annie says, I think we have to take responsibility as well for country as most population voted for the Tory. What? I'll just read it as it's written. Annie texts, think we have to take responsibility as well for country as most population voted for the Tory. If it were me, as I said to my friend, why doesn't the country unite and stand up for ourselves? The more the merrier. I would love to see the public, us people, unite and stand up for ourselves, says Annie. What do you think, Donny?
I love the poorly educated.
Nick Abbott on LBC. Call 0345 6060 973.
Now, wait a minute. I don't like that kind of talk. Now, just stop it. It upsets me.
Here's some talk from a person in Middlesex, Heston to be precise. Isaac.
Hello, Nick. How are you?
Good, thanks.
Yeah, right. 2 things. Number 1, Liz Truss.
Mm-hmm.
And number 2, I voted. Right?
Go on.
Right. Liz Truss, yeah, right. Earlier this week, I saw her on TV. Okay, and I've got to admit, she's getting good and slick. Her meat. Honestly, her media skills are getting good. I mean, let me explain.
Oh, please.
She was over in America, right?
Yeah.
Been interviewed by this British journalist, right? Explaining how she was how she's the victim.
Yes.
Right? And I think promoting her book, right?
Because of the lefty bankers, yes.
Absolutely.
Communists, each and every one of them.
Absolutely. And in the background, there was a blurred-out picture of Capitol Hill. I thought, what? This lady's getting good. I was well impressed, especially...
am I missing something? What's the blurred-out picture of Capitol Hill got to do with it?
I was thinking, no, it was just her media skill set has improved,
Right. No, I don't know. No, and I'm willing to be proved wrong, but I seriously doubt that that's true in any way, shape or form. She appears to be, I don't know, what's a polite way of saying doolally? I mean, to have that much self-assurance with that little ability just speaks of some sort of problem, doesn't it? Somebody should have a chat with her.
Absolutely. And the other thing as well, last week, I think after your show last weekend, I think I sort of briefly listening to I think it was Richard Spur, I think, and at 2 a.m, and there was a news bulletin, right?
Yeah.
And Liz Truss came on, right?
Blimey. What, without warning?
Exactly, yeah. So what I did was, she got halfway through her speech, and I goes at 2 a.m, Alexa, stop.
If only that would work in real life. If you could actually stop somebody by just yelling something at Alexa. Yeah. All right. Good work there, Isaac. Thanks a lot, mate. Yeah, she's over in America because she's the member of Parliament for America. No, she's the Member of Parliament for, like, Norfolk North or somewhere like that, which is a lovely place. What have the good people of Norfolk North or somewhere like that done to deserve Liz Truss?
I'm genuinely unclear.
She is genuinely unclear. Who speaks like that apart from anything else? I mean, who speaks that bizarrely?
I don't know anything.
Apart from him. Apart from those two, who speaks that weirdly?
Yeah. Wait a minute.
Yeah, apart from him and her. Oh, never mind. It's take all night. 0345 6060 973. Rav text, I don't care what Rishi has to say. I'll read it in the manifesto. Cornwall election, you baby sham of a PM. Pint-sized, that's an insult to pints. Lol, says Rav. Everybody's having the same thought. Very, very rude. Alan says, dogs have owners, cats have staff. Yeah, that's about right. That is about correct, yeah. Cats don't know that we're in charge. And just if they get an inkling that that is true, they get the right hump. Greg says, has the King gone back to work because his doctor would only issue a fit-to-work certificate? Yeah, surely he could do something. I mean, if he can't wave and smile, then surely just one or the other. Merthyr Tydfil. Hello, Jeff.
Well, Nick.
Yes, Jeff.
Well, as your Welsh correspondent, I got to keep you up to speed on Fossa Fran.
Yes, please. Now, Fossa Fran, in case you don't know, is this giant scar on a otherwise beautiful horizon that they dug coal out of without actually going deep down. They just lopped it off the top, haven't they? Like a giant ice cream scoop has come down from heaven and taken half a mountain with it. That's about right, isn't it?
Just about.
Yeah.
What they scooped out, they put alongside, but it's there. It's no longer called a hole; it's called a void.
It's called an opportunity.
Yes, and it is now filling up with water.
Oh, well, it sounds like an excellent opportunity to build an estate of tiny houselets on it. I bet somebody's thought about that.
Well, anyway, the situation is being monitored.
Is it?
You'll be pleased to know.
Oh, well, that is a relief.
I'm relieved to know that it's being monitored.
Who by?
We don't know. Nobody knows. I think being monitored means somebody goes along and watches it.
I bet they don't. I bet they don't do anything of the sort. I bet they say that they're monitoring it, which means that they will respond if somebody tells them that something is happening there, unless it's, the weekend. And, of course, they won't be in work first thing Monday morning. But if you catch them Tuesday afternoon or maybe Wednesday around about lunchtime, then they'll definitely spring into action.
Okay. The other thing is that you should be aware of, you know that we've had an election for First Minister.
Okay.
You remember Drakeford? No.
Yes.
No. Well, he's gone, and there's a guy called Vaughan Getting is now the First Minister.
Yeah.
Now, in the campaign, he took £200,000 from a convicted criminal who has been charged or got done for dumping illegal waste. He's a waste disposal. And there's absolute hell going on down here.
I don't know anything about this. This all sounds like actionable accusations that you're throwing around here, Jeff. I've got no idea what it is that you're saying, so I can't dispute any of it.
Don't comment.
Yeah, but I'm allowing you to comment. Skip to the point if there is one.
Well, you know that there's a lot of problems going on in Scotland. Well, it's the same sort of thing, and everybody wants him to resign.
Right.
Over it.
Okay. But apart from all of that, how's he doing?
Well, he hasn't had much chance to do anything at all.
Right.
All he's doing is answering questions on the 200 grand.
Trying to put out fires. Yeah.
So the whole thing is that there's a lot of excitement going on around the place at the moment. Scotland, Wales, and everything else. And then you've got your St. George demonstrations in London.
Yeah.
It looks very much as if you never know, Nick. England may call itself independent from Scotland and Wales.
I seriously doubt it. I think it's going to be the other way around. If anything at all, the good people of Wales and Scotland are going to call independence from us poor dokes in England. Yeah, I'd get away from as far away as you possibly can, Jeff. I'd try to slice Wales off the map and push it out to sea. See how far you get. All right, thanks a lot, mate. 0345 6060 973. Chris says, Labour should also renationalise buses outside cities. They are shockingly bad. Deregulation has failed, says Chris. What, you mean gifting monopolies of essential services to people whose only interest is maximising their profits so that they can pay their executives and shareholders as much as possible? That's failed. Blimey, somebody should have said something. Who could have predicted that? Phil says, I remember a time when even Croydon was better before the Tories. Now, not so much. P.S. Have you watched the new Civil War film yet? No. What Civil War film? Shashaf text. Oh, okay, here we go. The slogans for the Conservatives at the next general election. You can put it in 3 words easily, says Shaf. Conservatives, oblivion ahead. I'm not so sure. I think we can think of a better one than that. Scarlett says, think the worst boyfriend. Tory slogan, think the worst boyfriend. No. You may have a germ of an idea yet, but it's not been worked out to perfection. Try again. Darren says, it takes a particular type of person to keep almost £1 billion in his own bank account while spending every waking hour devising ways of making poor people's lives harder than they already are. I hope his parents are very proud, says Darren. Well, his parents-in-law are very rich. Does that count? Yeah, I mean, seriously. But should we get into it now? maybe I'll build up to it. What is wrong with that person? I mean, what's wrong with all of them? What's wrong with the people that they think they are appealing to with this particular brand of nastiness? Are there really that many people in this country who are so thrilled at the prospect of making poor people's lives even harder that they will vote for the party that is doing that to them? What is going on in this country? Hey, wake up, sheeple. It's later than you think.
Nick Abbott on LBC. Call 0345 6060 973.
Anybody care what this guy thinks?
No!
Mark says what Angela Rayner said about Rishi Sunak was terrible. She should have more respect for our Prime Minister. Chris says titchy suit sizes swimming pool doubles as a dog bowls as a... Shall I read it again?
No.
Chris says titchy suit sizes swimming pool doubles up as a dog's water bowl, which ironically is the same size of pool for Tory cabinet ministers. Wow, that was terrible, Chris. Pat says, and I mean that in the nicest possible way. Pat says, in the future we will not have to stop small boats crossing the channel because people will be able to wall across due to the sewage. Walk, you mean? Check your text before you hit send. People will be able to walk across due to the sewage.
Disgusting.
You believe that? And Sally says, I'm beginning to suspect that the Tories sold our summer. Yeah, no doubt. They sold it for cash, none of which we poor dopes who pay taxes.
The little people.
Not leprechauns. We won't see any of that money. And they've given out a contract for summer delivery task force to one of their donor outsourcer companies. Will never be warm again. Maidstone. Hello, Joan.
Hello, Nick. I really hope while our Prime Minister is striding across the international stage, opening his war chest and scattering it all around, so the people will be impressed, he will remember our servicemen who are not only lying on our streets, but dying on our streets. They've had cuts, so savage cuts. They've lost their homes, they've lost their jobs, they've lost all hopes, and just being slung out as if they're rubbish.
Oh, you mean ex-servicemen?
Yeah.
I think you said servicemen. And I was a little bit confused. You mean people who used to be in the Army, Air Force and the Navy, and they've just been chucked out like a used
rubbish.
Kleenex.
Yeah. And I remember just before the pandemic, I was holding memorial services in Maidstone to remember these people. You know, it was so sad.
In what capacity were you doing that, Joan?
I was speaking. I'm associated with Madam. I'm still doing it, although I'm housebound now.
Right.
You know, I can always talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, speak up. And I remember meeting one very proud ex-serviceman, and he came in there and he looked troubled. He spent 25 years in the services, bomb disposal.
Blimey.
You know, what his family must have gone through, what he must have gone through. He was also chucked out.
Yeah, I mean, we said, thanks very much for your service. Next.
Yeah. I mean, his wife and child, they were given sort of, hostel, which wasn't very good to sleep in. He was just given a list of various, bed and breakfasts.
I don't know why anybody...
family split up.
Yeah, I don't know why anybody who has an option would join the armed forces because of how we treat them. And also, it's not worse, but alongside that, any time that they are in a foreign theatre of war and looking for locals to help them out, you would have to be, as a local in a foreign country where our army is stationed, you'd have to be out of your mind to help our troops because of the way that this government will subsequently treat you.
Yeah, and also, do you remember those sort of tanks which are supposed to have protected them?
Oh, yeah.
So they shattered them.
The Snatch Land Rovers.
It was
I think they made them of cardboard.
It's absolutely disgusting.
Very, very thick cardboard.
They are dying on our streets this night, and they're doing absolutely nothing for them.
No.
I am so angry.
Yeah, well, you and me both. But apart from that, how's things? How's things apart from that?
How's things?
Yeah.
Down.
Down, deeper and down, like status quo. There's a but, yes.
But I see a sort of rise now of people. I remember years ago when, people were so downtrodden, and the only way is up.
Yeah.
And they start, to revolt. And we're going to kick him out.
I think they've been revolting for quite a while.
Oh, by the way, although I'm bedbound, I'm going to be in Langley. There can be a place in Langley to stand for the Borough Council.
Oh, you're going to do that? All right. Well, then I wish you, you and all of the people that you are competing with, a great level of equal amounts of success. Excellent work there, Joan. Cheers, my dear. Can't talk about any of that very much because it's getting a bit too close to it. And, certain rules and regulations kick in. You don't want to fall foul of those. Excellent work there, Joan. Cheers, my dear. Alison says Koyaanisqatsi was shown at the Prince Charles Cinema on Tuesday. Koyaanisqatsi. My favourite film of all time. It was at the Prince Charles Cinema on Tuesday. That's the cinema that's just off Leicester Square here in London's fashionable West End. She says, we saw What's Up, Doc with Ryan O'Neill and Barbara Streisand. It was hilarious, and we keep requesting It's a Mad, 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 Mad World, but no luck yet. Well, that does sound like an excellent lineup of films there. I had a week where I watched just classic films, only classic films. And as I'm saying that, I'm just trying to remember what they were. Leave it with me, I'll come up. It was only like this week I watched them. One per night. What were they? I don't know. I will think of it, though. Leave it with me. 0345 6060 973. West Midlands. Hello, Rangers.
Hi, Nick. You all right, mate?
Yes, good, thanks.
Yeah, I've been listening to you last week and this week, yeah. Mm-hmm. And I haven't waited a week, but I don't get cut off. What do you think Hamza Youssef has quit or shot himself in the foot? What's your opinion?
I don't really have very much of an opinion. You called to tell me your opinion. Are you kidding? Not interested in my opinion.
No, because you're the man in the know. You see, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and first of all, I'm going to say hello to somebody called Terry and Dee. They come to see me from Essex last week, and they're your number one fan.
Hello.
Right. Yeah. Hello. Okay, I think that what's going to happen in Scotland. You think it might trigger an early general election in this country? Then I think it will.
Well, people are saying that it's going to be on Monday. That Titchy Suitsize is going to announce that we're going to have a general election on Monday. Not the election on Monday, but he's going to announce it on Monday.
Yeah. I think, on Thursday when they have the local elections, right, and the results are quite bad, I think the following Monday, I think he'll announce an election in July, right?
I don't really see why, though, because, I mean, it can't possibly benefit him unless he just doesn't want to do this job anymore, because, when I could understand that, because he is uniquely bad at it, about every aspect of it. He's absolutely abysmal in his job, but it wouldn't benefit him unless he just wants to stop doing it, to have an election early. Just have it as late as you possibly can in order to give yourself time to, let's say, salt the earth. Make everything as broke as possible so that an incoming Labour Party will have as little to work with as he can make happen.
Yeah, I agree with that part where you're saying that. The problem you've got now, when Boris Johnson was in power, he had plenty of cheerleaders at the back.
Yeah.
So when he was making a fool of himself, right? I mean, like now, you've got this bloke today, Chris Philp, that he didn't know the difference between Congo and Rwanda. The week before, there was something else. He's had
8 or 9 by-elections he's lost, right? So he's finding it hard now to how he can solve the earth anymore because he's leaving so much poison for the next incoming government. Even the dinglings have started to realise, I think, that this man is dangerous for us. And I think he is the absolute worst Prime Minister since the previous one, who was the worst Prime Minister since the one before that. Yeah, but the one there was only for 49 days, right? And she...
yeah, and look what she managed to achieve in 49 days.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's inflicted so much damage in 49 days than this idiot here, right? If
Liz Truss had lasted more than 49 days, this entire country would be upside down and on fire by now.
Yeah, but you remember a few years ago when I was speaking to you and I said, look, Donald Trump saying we're top of this, we're top of that, and I said he was holding the graph upside down. Yeah, and that's and that's what these people are saying now, right? They're saying, "Oh, we've got the biggest waiting list ever." You know what I mean? We've got more banks now. They're food banks, right? In your high street, where your local monetary bank's finished, we're going to open a new food bank,
right?
And then this is the kind of thing they've been spinning, right? And people now, I think that even their staunchest supporters, right? Okay, bar the few that are like millionaires, right? I've had enough of these Tories, and I think they are going to get an absolute... They're going to get slapped with a wet fish, Papa. I think, yeah. and I don't think there's any way back. And I think Rishi Sunak's realised that, right? Yes, this was a vanity project for me to become Prime Minister, and I've done it. You know what? I just want to get out now because I've had enough.
If I were him, I would be on the first private plane I could hire out of here, yes. All right, thanks a lot, Rangers. Chris Philp, I have to talk about that because he absolutely deserves it. And plenty else besides. I want to talk about President Macron of France and James Cleverly versus Rishi Sunak. It's a fight to the death, metaphorically speaking. Matthew texts, Conservative slogan in 3 words, think the worst. Maybe expect the worst would be better. They should go on that.
On your radio, on Global Player, and
Play LBC.
Leading Britain's conversation. This is LBC. This is LBC from Global, leading Britain's conversation with Nick Abbott.
Shut up.
So they opened their big mouths and out came talk. Talk.
Martin says, given that we share a land border with Russia, Rwanda and the Democratic Republic of Congo, which might also be Rwanda, I really don't know where we are anymore. Well, you and me both. Shall I do that now? Chris Philp was widely mocked for forgetting to put the second I in his surname. Philp was asked on Question Time if people in the Congo who are at war with Rwanda would be sent to Rwanda if they managed to make it here. And amid much dithering, Chris Philp wondered aloud whether Congo was a separate country to Rwanda.
What?
He also questioned whether Africa was in Asia and if Djibouti was a real country and not just a random selection of Scrabble letters pulled out of a bag. He also wondered if Tanzania was in Australia and how to pronounce the country spelled Niger.
Warning!
It's not how you think. Chris Philp is the policing minister. Can you believe that?
Yes.
Yes, that's totally believable. He was asked about the government's plan to deport migrants who cross the channel in small boats to East Africa. Wait, to deport the migrants who cross the channel in small boats. These people aren't crossing the channel in small boats to East Africa. They're crossing to here and they might get sent to East Africa. And Chris Philp wondered if East Africa was anywhere near West Africa. And if so, isn't that something of a coincidence? somebody should definitely look into that. He was asked if asylum seekers originating in the Democratic Republic of Congo could be sent to Rwanda. The two countries neighbour each other, and as with most neighbours, they hate each other like poison. There's an ongoing conflict between those two nations. And in response, Chris Philp said, well, Rwanda is a different country from Congo, isn't it? And his response sparked laughter and mockery, mostly from people who could not pinpoint Rwanda or Africa on a map if their lives depended on it. Absolutely everyone who responded to this information with hilarity had just a moment of concern about their own ignorance on matters geographical, and whether it would be evident for all the world to see if they were asked the simplest question on anything that they should have learned in double geography.
Boring!
Yeah, I wasn't paying attention either. Chris Philp is the MP for Croydon South, which he would locate to the north of Croydon North and west of Croydon East, somewhere between Land's End and John O'Groats, on the island of Ireland. And he regularly is sent out with a driver in case he gets lost, to nod his head like one of those toy dogs that you used to see on the back shelf of an Allegro, and recite like a robot whatever nonsense lines had been given by some intern in number 10.
Correct.
And before being demoted to his current position, Mr. Philp was briefly a senior Treasury Minister under Prime Minister Liz Truss, which is the sort of thing you might forget to put on your CV, because I was a senior Treasury Minister under Liz the Blunder Truss might not impress a future employer, which is something he might have to do after the next election.
Absolutely.
I'm just trying to help. He's a keen sort, though, and appears to be the kind of chap who will willingly run into enemy fire while the rest of his group are herring in the opposite direction. When he was at the Treasury under the Lisbot, and the Chancellor was Crazy Kwarteng, and Crazy was in the Commons delivering his infamous emergency budget in September of 2022. God, was it that long ago? The Chief Secretary to the Treasury, Chris Philp, tried to help by tweeting positive thoughts, as though that would make everything okay. And as Crazy was delivering the giant sack of economic manure that was his special budget operation, Philp tweeted the following: "Great to see sterling strengthening on the back of the new UK growth plan." This was accompanied by a chart showing a brief spike versus the US dollar at 10 in the morning. 27 minutes later, the pound hit a 37-year low, and by the evening had come close to being on a par with the money that you get in a game of Monopoly. And when asked by an inquisitive journalist what marks did Chris Philp give the most ruinous budget in this country's history, he said 9.5 out of 10. Almost perfect, but not quite. His Tiggerish eagerness to toe the regime's line got him facing the money-saving journalist Martin Lewis about how affordable houses would now be for first-time buyers after the Lisbot's budget. This was unfortunate because Martin Lewis is an expert in possession of facts that could melt through some functionary's waffle at 50 paces. Philp said to Martin Lewis that prospective homebuyers with a £30,000 salary could purchase a property in London thanks to Lisbot's tax cuts. But as the cost of buying a house in London is about the same as setting up a colony on the moon, you would have to be able to raid the bank of mum and dad and an actual bank to be able to afford a house in London on an average salary. And of course, presented with these facts by an expert, Chris Philp apologised and corrected the record. Of course he didn't. He did that thing where they double down and reject the concept of reality.
Oh, fabulous.
Martin Lewis, the financial journalist interviewing Chris Philp on Good Morning, said, "Now, on my calculations, to save £11,250 on stamp duty, you have to be buying a house as a first-time buyer of £500,000 or more. The cheapest fixed-rate mortgage on a £500,000 property with a 10% deposit leaves you with payments of £2,400 a month, which is £28,000 a year. But your example, Chris Philp," he said, is for somebody who earns $30,000 a year. Clearly, they would not be able to get a mortgage, and clearly, on $30,000 a year before tax, you cannot pay a mortgage of $28,000 a year. And Chris Philp said, but you might be able to find some money in the street, and it only costs 30p a day to feed a grown person, so it is possible. No, he didn't say that. I made that up, but would you be totally surprised if he had?
No.
And then there was the time when he pit his wits against another expert in possession of facts. This time a considerably scarier proposition than that nice Martin Lewis. I mean the time when Chris Philp went into the ring with Mick Lynch. It's still on the worldwide wait. If you have a moment, I'll sum it up for you. There was a great amount of flannel. Chris Philp is a flannel-producing engine, all of which was followed by Mick Lynch saying, "Liar!" about 20 times. I mean, it's making me sweat just thinking about it. I bet Chris Philp has nightmares. Still, it's all good fun, and no one got hurt. Apart from everyone that's been hurt by this regime and the minions they send out to repeat these stock phrases of the day. You know, the Prime Minister has been very clear that. Or, when they don't want to answer a question, they say, what's important to remember is... and then they answer a totally different question. Or when they say, the British people don't want a general election. You know, funny stuff like that. 0345 6060 973. Let's have Ealing, Mohammed.
Hi, good evening, Nick. Pleasure to speak to you as always. How are you doing? You all right?
Good, thanks.
Oh, I cannot believe it. Every single week, it's getting worse and worse and worse. We need to get rid of the whole elite. Look who we've got as Prime Minister. Look who we've got as the Chancellor, the man that destroyed the NHS. Look who we've got as the Commissioner, the former assistant to Carissa Dick. We're failing everywhere, Nick, and the country is depressed, sad, and we need inspiration. I can't believe it, mate.
I tell you what we need, Mohammed. We need some warmth and we need some sun. If we get warmth and sun, all of the above will just vanish. You know that that's true. We just need some HAPPY-ness. And the sun can bring that in large amounts. I just can't stand this cold anymore. It's driving me nuts.
The cold is driving me nuts, so are the Tories, to be fair with you. Right. I'd rather be voting in a general election come next Thursday. However, I'll be voting in the local elections.
Well, don't forget your ID, Mohammed.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah,
ID.
see?
Gotta take that. Gotta take
take the ID. Put it by your front door so you don't forget it. Excellent work there. Thanks a lot, mate. 0345 6060 973. Amjad texts, a slogan for the Conservatives in 4 words is, can't get any worse. Well, I don't know. I'm not sure that's a good one because perhaps not people, but me, I automatically thought, oh, yes, it could. Oh, yes, it could. Northwich, David.
Hello?
Yes, David.
Oh, I wasn't introduced. That's a bit of a shock, that.
You what?
No, I wasn't introduced.
I've just introduced you. Northwich, David.
Yeah, sorry. The presidential elections in America.
Yes.
Now I've got a friend in America.
Mm-hmm.
I go to Las Vegas every year for a holiday, and they're struggling to who to vote for. Maybe you could help them.
Well, do they want a man who has been found guilty in court of rape, who boasts about abusing women, who had sex with a porn star while his wife was having a baby, who has taken the Bible and sold it to enrich himself, or a nice-ish old geezer who apparently wants what's best for America? Your choice.
Yeah, the way they see it, though, all that is probably true. But the way they see it is, do they want to vote for someone who is obviously 81 years old, who is quite clearly suffering from the effects of old age, dementia and stuff.
Well, both of them, you could say the same for both of them.
Yeah,
I mean, Donald Trump, the stuff that he comes out with is, it's just bright orange nonsense most of the time.
Oh, shut up!
I mean, he just fills the air with noise and numbers, signifying nothing.
But that's a choice, isn't it? So a guy who's maybe a decent guy who's got dementia, who's 81.
Right. Well, there's no evidence that he has dementia. He's just 81 years old, that's all.
Yeah, and a guy who's orange and...
Yeah, and has all of the problems that Joe Biden is evidencing, but with none of the evil part.
Yeah, as well as being insane. So it's not a very good choice, is it? And this is the most powerful country in the world.
Yeah, if those are the two best options, then I think they need to think it out again. Yeah.
And we think we've got problems.
Why do you go to Las Vegas every year for a holiday?
It's fantastic. It's the most amazing...
but you've been there already. I mean, America, the thing about America has absolutely everything. It's like all of the world boiled into one country with a lot of stuff that you don't see anywhere else. And you're going to Las Vegas, the fakest place in America?
It's not, though. It's not fake, is it? It's the entertainment capital of the world.
It's totally fake. There's nothing real about it. You look out your hotel window and there's the Arc de Triomphe. Or the Eiffel Tower. That's probably the Eiffel Tower they got, isn't it? You think, hot damn, we're in Paris.
Yeah, they got the Paris Hotel. It's the entertainment capital of the world. If you were in a spaceship and you wanted to go one place on Earth, you would go to Las Vegas.
If you were out of your mind, yeah, that is correct.
Where would you go then?
Anywhere else. I'd go to Arizona or Nevada outside of Las Vegas. I mean, okay, Las Vegas for maybe once in your lifetime. That's entirely sufficient.
Why would you go to Arizona?
But there's no end of beautiful things in Arizona. I mean, it's the heat, apart from anything else. It's a dry heat.
The Grand Canyon, absolutely magnificent. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Been there, amazing. Camped out in Arizona. It's amazing.
Yeah,
in
me
the Grand
too.
Canyon, yeah.
Mm-hmm, yes.
Yeah.
Walked all the way down and then all the way back up again in August.
Yeah, but Las Vegas is just the most amazing place on earth.
The fakest place in the world. Yeah.
What do you mean by fake, though? I don't understand what you just said. Why is it so fake?
Are you kidding me? Las Vegas is fake. Is what they do. Everything is fake there. They got gondolas going through canals in a fake Venice. How fake can it possibly get?
That's themed. It's not fake. It's themed.
Themed. It's a fake theme park, is what it is. It's a theme park for grown-ups. Yeah. Do you ever win any money there? No.
Yeah, I have actually. Yeah.
Sounds like a no. Add it all up, David. All the amount that you spent, the amount that you won, you've lost, right?
Yeah, correct. Yeah, right. That's how we build a city. Yeah.
Exactly right. Yeah.
On losses, yeah.
On the goodwill of I don't know. I'm trying to think of a better way of saying mugs. The house always wins. Always. Thanks a lot, David. Pick any other destination in America to go to. Promise me you'll do that.
I'll probably go to New York, but I've been there as well.
New York. Okay, well, that would be better. At least they have, they've got art there. They've got culture there. They've got, what else have they got? Rats. Well, they've probably got rats in Vegas, haven't they? What else have they got? They got skyscrapers, but they got that in Vegas as well. It's significantly worse weather in New York than in Vegas. Most of the time. Mostly. Anyway, we should try another continent. Would be better. Thanks a lot, David. Appreciate it. Next time you're there, put 20 on red. And if it wins, that's my money. Okay. You heard this tip here and only here. Frank says, everything is based on fear. The government used this as a useful weapon. Yes, that is true. Bill says, our esteemed Prime Minister is a giant of modern politics. I'm sure that Vlad Putin is quaking in his boots, having to face him in the political arena with his experience of the hard men of St. Petersburg, says Bill. Well, I mean, it's not going to come to fisticuffs. It doesn't really matter how big they are or how tough they are personally, because they personally aren't going to get in a ring. They have other people do their fighting for them. If only, if the human race, if you had a problem with somebody else and you had to fight them personally, there wouldn't be any wars, would there? People are the problem, always.
Leading Britain's conversation, Nick Abbot. Alexa, send a comment to LBC.
You've got a good, your mind is a little bit, you know what I mean, three-dimensional.
No, I have no idea what you mean. Chris says, I find Titchy suit size appealing. In fact, describing him as a small piece of orange peel is factually accurate. He really is the waste product of the plump inner Tory party centre. Blimey. I think you better stop thinking for a while there, Chris. You sound confused. Like that. Islington. Hello, Thomas. Thomas?
Hi, yeah.
There you are. Yes,
Sorry.
Thomas.
Yeah, no, I'm with you loud and clear.
Go ahead.
How are you?
Great, mate.
Yeah, no, I just thought I'd phone in to talk about voter ID.
Mm-hmm.
The local election's coming up, and I think it's advantaging a lot of people. I think a lot of people haven't got the messaging around voter ID.
Yes.
The advertising's been weak. And you know what's the point? Why is this suddenly a big deal now? And I think it's to do with Count Binface. I think they're worried that he's going to build that one affordable house.
It's the Count Binface issue that has got them concerned. Yeah, I think you're probably onto something there, Thomas.
I mean, I think so. He's the only one promising one affordable house. You know, he's the only one making a promise we can all believe in. They're all making empty promises. They're all making the same. Would you agree with me? You look at the candidates. What policies could you differentiate between, let's say, the Conservatives, the Labour, and the Lib Dem candidate? Are they all say, well, I'll let you answer that. Name me a policy that differentiates one of them from the other.
The renationalisation of the railways.
No, I'm talking about the mayor.
Oh, well, you didn't say that.
Oh, yeah, apologies. Okay, so to be clear, for the mayoral election.
The mayoral election. Well, Susan Hall wants to stop Sadiq Khan from doing something that Sadiq Khan has said he would never do. So there's that.
All right, so on the opposition, they all just bang on about ULEZ.
That's the charge per mile thing, by the way.
So on the opposition, they generally bang on about ULEZ and cars, but other than that, they all say they're going to build affordable homes. Mm-hmm. Well, they said that 10 years ago, and nothing happened. Yeah. I think we need to get real. The mayor doesn't really have enough power, and the only person that's actually proposing stuff that he could do is Count Binface.
Count Binface.
Which is just
Plus, he has the benefit. He has the benefit of having a bin on his face.
Yes, I mean, I commend a man who's willing to go to those lengths.
Yeah.
I think someone who's willing to do that is someone I want to be mayor, because at least he has the convictions.
Yeah, he should be. Yeah, convicted.
Yeah. So look, that's my opinion. I think the voter ID stuff is where does it come from? Is this something we've imported from the States?
Yes, of course it is. It's a Republican idea, and it's they're used in the same way in America as it is here, in order to try to stop people who might not vote for the regime from going to the polling booth in the first place.
Oh, yeah, but in the same way, put it to you, there's a valid argument about voter fraud.
No, there isn't. Well, you can put it to me if you like, but it doesn't make it true.
No,
there is no voter fraud. There is no significant voter fraud in this country. More Tory MPs have been slung out for sexual shenanigans.
Disgusting.
Than there has been accusations and trials and convictions of voter fraud in this country.
Sexual shenanigans.
Shenanigans, yes.
Sexual shenanigans.
Shenanigans, yes.
Yeah, it's got a ring to it, that.
Don't
I think
it just?
Yes. I think you should get in touch with Labour HQ, because...
I'm going to do that straight away. Thanks for the good advice there, Thomas. He's a representative of that whole Count Binface issue. He's right about the accepted forms of photo ID. Hey, kids, don't forget your ID. Oh, you're not going to bother voting anyway? I mean, it's so blatantly obvious. Even Smug said it out loud that this was an attempt at... Well, he said gerrymandering.
I don't know anything.
Not gerrymandering exactly. I'm not sure that fits this precise description. But it's a way of trying to fiddle your way into a win. You can have... these are accepted forms of photo ID. Almost all of them are specifically associated with older people, as in 60 plus. Now, you got your passport. That is not necessarily for an older person, but it's more likely that an older person will have a passport. It is also more likely that a well-off older person will have a passport. And I would imagine that the calculus that they have come up with is that older, better-off people are more likely to vote Conservative. Whereas if you look at the actual demographics, it's poorer people who are more likely to vote Conservative, which is a statistic that always blows my mind. You can have a passport. You can also have a driving licence. That is also more likely to be owned by older people because kids don't want a driving licence anymore. Cars. Boring. They don't want a car with everything that goes with that. They just want an account with Uber is what they want. A blue badge. Almost all of which will be owned by older people. An older person's bus pass. That's the actual name of the bus pass. A disabled person's bus pass, which will be mostly older people. A 60-plus London Oyster photo card, as in 60-plus years old. A freedom pass, for your freedom. A 60 and over Welsh concessionary travel card. A disabled person's Welsh concessionary travel card. A senior smart pass, issued in Northern Ireland. A registered blind person's smart pass, also mostly for older people. A ward disablement smart pass, older people. A 60-plus smart pass. A half fare smart pass. I don't know who that's aimed at. An identity card bearing a proof of age standards scheme. A biometric immigration document. Ministry of Defence card. A national identity card. Issued by a European Economic Area state. What? And an electoral identity card issued in Northern Ireland. I haven't added it up and done the maths, but I'm going to go ahead and guess that about 95% of the acceptable forms of photo ID are associated specifically with older people. I think you'll find that that is correct. I mean, what a racket, eh? I can't believe that they're actually going to be getting away with it, particularly as Smug let the cat out of the bag.
You're better informed than I am. I don't know anything.
He actually said it. And they're going to go ahead and do it anyway. What a way to run a country, eh?
Dreadful.
Nick Abbot on LBC. Call 0345 6060 973.
Right, so what are we doing?
Given we are doing a radio show, but it does remind me that I do a podcast with Carol McGiffin.
Yeah.
Yeah, now the idea is that it's a dilemma-solving podcast. It's also funny. F-U-N-Y, funny. Now, if you have a dilemma that you wish us to try to solve while we are laughing our faces off, then please send it to the following address. nickandcarol@global.com. That's NICKANDCAROL @global.com, and prepare for total satisfaction. Ask for it by name on an internet near you. What's your problem with Nick and Carol? If you want to just take a little mental holiday from all of the misery and this swirling eddy of catastrophe that we've caught ourselves in, then I think it'll be right up your alley. There must be about must be getting on for about 130 episodes up there now, if not more. It's almost an hour long, comes out twice a week, Mondays and Fridays. I think you'll love it. What's your problem with Nick and Carol? Yes?
No.
0345 6060 973. Ilford, Shab.
Hi.
Yes, Shab.
Yeah, hello. Yeah, first time caller.
Good man.
Yeah. You know what? I've just got this question come up to me. You know,
why we go Rishi Sunak as a Prime Minister? I mean, who elected him? 3,000 Tory voters or the entire population of UK, or some of it?
No. Well, some of it. Some of it elected him to be their local representative, which is, a matter for them. Don't quite understand it myself.
Seat, isn't he? The service coming up, he's going to lose that seat.
Yeah, no doubt. He could care less.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand. Britain had some great prime minister. You can argue with their policies, but they have a charismatic personality. Like Margaret Thatcher, Tony Blair, Gordon Brown, David Cameron. They look like prime minister material. When you look at Rishi Sunak,
not so much.
He look like a joker. It's like one of these.
He actually does look a bit. He actually does look a bit like the Joker out of Batman. I mean, he doesn't look like it, but he kind of acts like it. Or maybe the Penguin would be a better villain for him.
Yeah, I think he's embarrassing to see somebody like him as a prime minister.
He is just so bad at his job. Everything about his job, he is absolutely awful at. And people don't like him in that job either. It makes you wonder why he's doing it.
Well, you know what? I mean, he should go. He should resign. Get somebody else from even Tory. I reckon, that lady, what's her name?
Don't say it.
Yeah, well, whatever. I think we should have a general election now. Let British people choose.
Who are you going to say?
Is it what's her name? The lady, I forgot her name. Meldon.
Not Suella.
No. She's not
Kemi.
She reminds me of one of those horror show characters. Yeah. She looked like one of those vampires.
Very, very frightening. Yeah, we shouldn't even be mentioning her name at this time of night. People are going to have nightmares.
No, I don't know. I mean, these people. This is the new generation of Tories. And, I'm sure, like the great Tory leader like Margaret Thatcher in the past, they must be turning in their graves. When you see, the Tory party, they love and care, and the people are leading it are like jokers and...
Yeah, I don't recognise this as the Conservative Party anymore. It's the name's the same, but the whole direction of travel seems to me, to my eyes, to be completely different. I just don't see them as Tories anymore. I don't know. It's like it's like a reverse takeover by UKIP.
Yeah, I think it's worse because
worse than that.
Because when you go like Rishi Sunak, who's Asian, and he's portraying more whiter than white racist white policies.
Well, I've said this before that it help if you do espouse racist policies, then it would help the message if those policies are coming from somebody who does not have a white face. I mean, that just is logical to me. Whether that is actually what's happening, whether somebody has thought that out, is another thing entirely. But I think that the point stands. Excellent work there, Shap. Cheers, mate. 0345 6060 973. Lynn texts, abandon all hope, vote Conservative. These are Conservative Party slogans, 3 words preferable. Not sure about that, Lynn. Not sure that's a vote winner. Craig says, Tory slogan in 3 words, like your mother-in-law. Well, I think Craig is telling us a little bit more information than perhaps he should. Mark says 300 migrants that the government want to send to Rwanda each year is a vanishingly small percentage of those being processed. So a vanishingly small number of people coming back from Rwanda as part of the reciprocal arrangement could be 300. That's right. It might not be 1 for 1, but there is no doubt that part of the agreement that they don't talk about very much or at all is that we will take people from Rwanda that Rwandans want to get rid of. Want to flick them away. Nothing about this policy makes any sense other than it's an exercise in making people angry. And now that they've got their way, they're going to have a the government is going to have a problem. I'll get into that in a minute. Did you see what the Emmanuel Macron said? I'll get into that in a minute as well. Zara says, just watched Titanic 2. They shouldn't have bothered, says Zara. That's an hour and a half of my life I'm not getting back. An hour and a half? Films don't last an hour and a half anymore, do they? They're all 3 hours. Take forever. I was on a classic films bender this week. One of the ones that I thought... I was like flipping through Netflix, and I went past... I'm pretty sure I saw it on Netflix. And I went past the ad for Pulp Fiction, and I thought, wow, I mean, I can pretty much speak along with the characters. I've seen that film so much. But I thought, if I start to watch it, I will want to finish watching it. And that is absolutely true. I was hooked within about 2 seconds. It's like a greatest hits album, that film. It's just one classic scene after the next. It's amazing that they're all in the same film. It has to be one of the best films ever made, Pulp Fiction. And the music and the quotable lines, I mean, it's just absolutely epic. But I'm probably not telling you anything you don't know. If you haven't seen it yet, then see it immediately. Or wait till tomorrow, perhaps, when you're more refreshed. Rossshire. Liz.
Hello, Nick.
Liz.
How are you doing?
Good, thanks.
So, I was listening to you talking about this photo ID you need for voting. So, I can't stop laughing about this, but I decided during January I needed a new passport, and I thought, well, just go and get it, because you're not that old, you're going to vote, and you might just travel, you know. And I put it with a passport. I put it off in London, but I timed it so that we would be here in Scotland when it arrived.
Right.
Yesterday, they refused me.
They refused to give you a passport?
They refused me. Honestly, I could not believe it.
Hang on a minute. Wait. Back up. They refused to issue you with a passport? Why was that?
Well, yeah. Right from the very start, everything went wrong. But I think it's because I became a Muslim and I wore the scarf. And when I went for my last passport, this one, I wore a hat, and the woman told me you can't. No. Can't wear a hat, can't wear sunglasses, and absolutely no smiling. No smile. I know that one now. Yeah. But yesterday, I kept looking for this passport and thinking, oh my God, I'm going to travel maybe in a week. Mm-hmm. What am I going to do? Well, I kept waiting and waiting, and it just wasn't coming.
No. How's Blackpool suit you this time of year, Liz?
What?
No passport required. Blackpool. Lovely. It's bracing, I bet.
That sounds quite nice.
Doesn't it just? There's a holiday destination you can rely on. They're refusing to give Liz a passport because they just don't want her to leave. They can't imagine how we'll get along without her. I think that's good policy. Thanks a lot, Liz. Wish you all the best. 0345 6060 973. Sam says, Tory slogan, take a lot, give a little. Nope. I mean, thanks for trying, but that's not going to work, no. Lucy says, even the horses have had enough of this clown show. They thought, right, that's it, I'm leaving. I think I've found my spirit animal, says Lucy. Oh, poor horses. 0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Email nicka@lbc.co.uk. If you're on Twitter, it's @LBC. Newcastle. Terry.
Hello.
Yes, Terry.
I've just worked out Rishi Sunak.
Go on.
He's like, you know, when somebody tries to sell you something and your mind's going, no, this is wrong, and he keeps on telling you, and you think, oh, and everything he tries, he says, like, I'm going to give 75 billion to the armed forces. And then you look at the figures and you say, well,
it's like threepence
basically, but we'll be all saying we're going to, like, your figures are going to say that the economy is going to grow so much. So 55 billion of that has already been spent.
Yes, or it might never appear, and much of it is pensions, and they add up all of the amount that it will increase over 5 years and give you the big number at the beginning, as though that's what they're going to be spending straight off. And I know it's just so crooked. Why can't they just be straight with us? They know that they can't be straight with us because it just would look bad. If they told us the truth, then it's not going to reflect well on them. So they just keep making stuff up.
But he's a banker. That's what they do. That's all they ever do. All they ever do
he's not a banker,
how good
though.
you're going to be off. It's like selling you a pension.
But he's not a banker. It's worse than that. He's a gambler. That's how he made his money, by making a bet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, the company that he worked for have moved their offices from London to Paris.
Have they?
And have said that Brexit has cost the UK economy 5%. So if he was working for them, right, that's the stuff he would have went on.
Well, that's right. Yeah. Well, I'm sure that. You don't have to be sure about it. It's evidenced that people who spent money on persuading us to vote for Brexit bet that Brexit would be bad for the economy and made hundreds of millions of pounds as a result. Think about that for a minute. People that spent millions persuading this country to vote for Brexit were at the same time betting that Brexit would be bad for the country, so bet against the pound and made hundreds of millions of pounds. Which part of that does not sound as though it should be punishable in some way? But there is no punishment. They will not go to jail. They will go to the House of Lords. Because that's how it works in this country. Thanks a lot, Terry.
Nick Abbott on LBC. Call 0345 6060 973.
I am not one of your fans!
0345 6060 973. People are coming in with slogans for the Conservative Party. Tina says, my slogan, Tories, no thanks. Yeah, but that's not really a slogan for them, Tina. That's a slogan for you. Nick says, Tory slogan, dumbing it down day by day. Well, yes, but you couldn't fit that on the lectern. Sam says, Tory slogan, fancy a pint. How about fancy a pint-sized loser? 0345 6060 973. Bristol. Hello, David.
Hello, Nick. How are you doing?
Yeah, good, thanks.
It's just an observation, really, that when I was in Tesco's at the automated checkout the other day, I just felt that Rishi Sunak, his voice was exactly the same as the automated checkout. I think there's something you should investigate. I think he's moonlighting.
What, the thing that says unexpected item in the bagging area?
Exactly that. And would you like a receipt? I think it's Rishi.
Well,
I think he's moonlighting.
We've found his calling.
Well, it's not far off, is it? And it could be a Tory slogan.
What, unexpected item in the bagging area?
In the bagging area. And would you like a receipt? He's not going to give you one.
Right.
He'll probably say not available at this checkout.
Yes, that's right. Yes, unfortunately, please see management for further details. Would you like a receipt? That's a good one. I'd like to see that on a lectern. Would you like a receipt? Thanks a lot, David. 0345 6060 973. Ray says, the Tory slogan, we don't care. Yeah, I'm not sure that that's really going to bring people in, Ray. Trying to be positive here. I know it's hard. Mickey says, Conservatives' new slogan could be death to the West, as it could be argued that their record shows that they have technically killed more of us than terrorists so far. Wow. Any of these helping yet?
No.
No, not really, no. It's an uphill task. Andy says, is Philp really Truss in disguise? Have you ever seen them at the same time? Says Andy. Afzal says, Tory slogan, we aren't working. Jerry says, your pain, our gain. Well, that would have the benefit of truth. Yes, I think that might be a winner so far. It's four words, but it's four short words. And your and our look well when written side by side, with pain in the middle. And then gain. You see, it's, I don't know, there's a certain beauty about that. Write it down and admire it. Your pain, our gain. Because it rhymes, apart from anything else. And your and our are practically the same, but for one letter. I do believe that Jerry is in the lead. Gaz says, election in July could mean that many students may not be at their registered address to vote. Yeah, which is also known as the plan.
We have a plan, or you just go back to square one. That's why it's so important we stick to this plan.
It's stick to the plan. He's doing his sort of earnest voice there. Not his hurt puppy dog eyes type voice with the faux empathy thing that he's got. He's got like about 3 speeds. Furious, snarling anger, as in tetchy. And then this one.
We have a plan,
or back to square one. Yeah, back to square one, please, straight away, if not sooner. And then he's got the earnest, the faux sincerity thing going on. Terrible. He is uniquely bad at his job. It could actually be worse than the last one.
Absolutely.
And she was worse than the one before that.
Yeah. Wait a minute.
I don't know how they keep finding them. I think that at this point they've scraped through the bottom of the barrel and they're just digging dirt up now. John says, stop playing Liz Truss's voice. She's horrible. Well, that's not nice, John. Hey, John.
Be polite.
And Shirley says, Liz Truss got upset earlier this week when she found out that The Lettuce has released a book at the same time as her. That she held the book upside down was just perfect. I mean, everything that you want from a Liz Truss television appearance in the one go. Promoting her book and held it upside down to the camera. I mean, really. Other countries are pointing at us and laughing at this point. It's embarrassing. Like it genuinely is. To the point that now the French president is making fun of us. I'll get to that in a minute. Texts and emails. God, there's so many of them. I'll never get through these. Nobody communicates, and when I say nobody, I mean very, very few people communicate by actually speaking anymore. We're all typing, and this is going to get worse and worse. I've said this before. But people under the age of, let's say, 30, aren't used to speaking anymore. They communicate by waggling their thumbs at their phone screen. Which is why I have more texts than I could ever fit into a 3-hour show. And one call on the board.
What?
One. I've got about 56,000 texts and one person who wants to actually communicate to me using their mouth. But you know me, I never complain.
Whinging and whining and moaning.
Gaz says, election in July, no, I read that one. I mean, many students would not be at their registered address to vote. Yeah, well, students won't vote anyway. They can't be bothered.
Want to score some pot?
You know, they're busy. I don't know why you kids moan about this stuff. Like, I genuinely don't. That you think that it's going to get better if you don't bother to take part. Somebody else is going to do it for you. Hey, wake up, sheeple. It's later than you think. Just make an effort, for crying out loud. Get involved. Find out where you are going to be at the whenever an election is called, and make sure that you're registered at that address. And get an ID. Don't let them take your vote away from you, because that seems to be the plan.
We have a plan, or you just go back to square one.
Yeah, just go back to square one. I'm going to have to edit that and put a little gap in there after square one, because I keep trying to cut him off at that point, and just there's not quite enough of a gap in there. But leave it with me. I am a trained professional, and I will work it out somehow. Craig says, Tory slogan in 3 words, we broke everything. Yeah, I'm not sure that's going to get people on side. Your pain, our gain, on the other hand, I think there's something to that. Because there is an element in the British people, that's sort of part of our psyche, is that we love a bit of masochism. We actually like being punished. Thank you, sir, may I have another? I think there's a certain element of Brits who actually like the punishment. Look forward to it, we do. That's the only explanation I can find for, everything that's happened in the last 14 years. If at first you don't like what's happening, then keep voting for the same party over and over again. That'll work. Darryl says, free trips abroad. Vote Conservative. And Stu, and I do believe that Stu actually has it. Stu texts the Conservative slogan in 3 words. All Labour's fault. There you are. Finally, we've come up with something. I offer that to you at no charge, Rishi Sunak. Just put that in a lectern. All Labour's fault. Bound to be. 0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Email nick@lbc.co.uk. If you're on Twitter, it's @LBC. I keep forgetting, but we're on WhatsApp now, baby. You can WhatsApp us. Same number as the phone number. 0345 6060 973. Friday, Saturday, Sunday night at 10. Nick Abbot, LBC.
On your radio, on Global Player, and
Play LBC.
leading Britain's conversation. This is LBC. This is LBC from Global, leading Britain's conversation with Nick Abbot.
Listen to him. He knows everything.
Would you mind telling me what this is all about?
Yeah, okay. So the government said that people on the worst 0 hours contracts are benefiting because of the freedom. I mean, you couldn't really make it up, could you? 0345 6060 973. I mean, they're not even trying anymore. Gaz said, and if you're a slave, then you benefit from not having to think for yourself. All of your thinking is done for you. Freedom! Shirley says, Liz Truss got upset earlier this week when she found out that a lettuce has released a book at the same time as her. Do believe that I've read that one before. Winning slogan so far, your pain, our gain. Because some people do like a bit of pain. That's the only explanation I can find. Craig says, Tory slogan in 3 words, we broke everything. Darren says, the King is out of action, Big Ben has stopped, and there are blood-covered horses running through the streets of London. Maybe someone should check on the Ravens in the Tower, because this feels a lot like a season finale to me. Big Ben has stopped.
What? I
didn't know that. Big Ben has stopped. Is that true? I'm going to ask my glamorous assistant. Has Big Ben stopped?
As far as I'm aware, no.
No, I believe that it's still functioning. As a bell. Although I meant to mention this at the time, but I forgot. Because, I'm up to my eyeballs with thinking about the issues. But I drove by Big Ben, the Elizabeth Tower, the big clock thing. And the lights were off. This was a couple of weekends ago. Now, I've never seen that before. I've seen it lit up in all the colours of the rainbow. Yes, I said rainbow. All the colours of the rainbow I saw at once. as though they were just trying the lighting system out, and I've never seen them light it up in a colour again. I assume that they were practising for New Year's, because one moment the Big Ben clock face was red, and then it was blue, and then it was green, and they sort of dialed through all the colours there for one night only. I was on a rooftop bar, so I had a good view of it. And at the time, I think I posted the pictures of it, evidence on Twitter. But this was ages ago now. It's like last winter. And I've never seen it since. So they have the ability to turn it all the colours of the rainbow, but they've never used it. So, and they didn't do it at New Year's Eve, so I wonder why they put it in if they're not going to use it. What's it for? But associated to that, a couple of weekends ago, I drove by. It was about 8 o'clock, something like that. And it was all dark. All the lights were off. The light was off behind the clock face. And I've never seen that before. And I thought, is that a cry for help? You know, like flying the Union flag upside down? Is that some sort of a signal that they need assistance?
Warning, warning.
Is somebody crying for help in there, I thought. I know there's a lot of people out here crying for help. Maybe that was in, it was reflecting our pain. 0345 6060 973. Stockport. Hello, John. John? John? Too late. Oh, just under the bar there, I think, John. There you are.
Oh. You can't hear me?
I can now.
Can you hear me?
No.
Yeah. You know, little kids when you buy them toys and they press those buttons on the toys and the toys are driving the parents mad because they beep and they make noises and they talk and all that, right? You know, you keep pressing these buttons, you know, and I don't want to hear that button being pressed of Liz Truss, yeah?
You don't want to hear this?
Absolutely. She is one nasty... I knew you were going to press it.
Yeah. Well, if you tempt me, I'm going to do it.
Right, no, on a serious note, right, Nick, seriously, on a serious note, yeah? Okay, no, because you're like those kids, you tell them don't do it and they do it even more.
I'm going to do it before, you know, do it even worse.
You're reliving your childhood when you used to press those toys and play with it.
Yeah, as you previously described, yeah. Children who press the buttons and play with their toys. If you tell me not to do it, I'm just going to do it more.
Listen to people... Listening to...
Get it out, John.
Yeah, listening to people on LBC this evening now. But on a serious note, there's Albert in the news saying about the study. Huh? Hello?
Yes?
You're going to press the button again.
John, you seem confused. I'm going to put you on hold so you can gather your thought. Chris says, speaking of classic films, did you know that Hitchcock never won an Oscar as a director? His problem was obviously wasting time with rubbish like Psycho and North by Northwest and Vertigo and Rear Window, and instead he should have made a Marvel superhero movie about a chunk of walking metal with lasers for fingers.
Correct.
Yeah, well, none of those people have won an Oscar either. None of those Marvel superhero movies have won an Oscar. I bet there's not one single one that's won an Oscar. Oscars are won by... films about people who are disabled or people who are starving to death, or, it's like, oh, that's worthy stuff.
Boring!
Don't much like it myself. I like action adventure. That's what I like. And those movies don't win Oscars either. What difference does it make that it wins an Oscar? Who cares? Apart from the people who are taking home the goodie bags. I want a goodie bag. Beverley, East Yorkshire. Hello, Mike.
Hi, Nick. Morning. Just a subtle point about question time.
Yes.
Because for the last year or more, the Tories come under serious pressure. When they've spoken, there's been groans and moans and occasionally booing. And when they get attacked, whoever's speaking gets cheered. But there's been a subtle difference in the last 3 or 4 months. And the same thing happens. You get the moans and the groans, and whoever attacks the Tory gets cheers. But when the Tory responds the last few months, the audience have laughed at them.
At them? Not with them, at them.
No, at them. And that psychologically is incredibly difficult, because if you're in a debate, you can up the volume,
Yes.
you can lie more, you can invent more phony facts, you can do everything else, and you can have a fight. But when people laugh at you, and you do that, and they laugh louder, there's nowhere to go.
Yeah, you're completely right. What a regime hates the most, and the more autocratic they are, the more they hate it, is being laughed at. You laugh at Vladimir Putin, and you'll be spending the rest of your short life in Siberia.
Yeah, quite so. And there is no answer. And they look, I mean, I almost feel sorry for them, because when you laugh at, they just have to curl up into a little ball, and you can see...
No, but they don't, though, do they, Mike? They don't curl up into a ball. They don't apologise. They don't fall silent. They get louder and double down on the thing that made the audience laugh at them. That's the infuriating part, is that it's almost as though they can't hear us.
Yeah, and on a similar note, Boris Johnson did get one thing right. In his resignation speech, he said, when the herd moves, it moves.
Yeah.
Now, he meant Tory MPs, because they'd just outed him.
Yes.
But what Sunak doesn't realise is that the herd is still moving against him. And it takes some stopping and some turning round.
Impossible.
Because once people have got the idea that you are phony, you are not genuine, you're not a real person.
Yes.
It really does take some shifting to change that.
And he is uniquely bad at that whole human being thing. I mean, he just does not come across like a human being, and neither can he speak to human beings without seeming weird. He's just... Every part of his job he is uniquely bad at. I mean, Liz Truss was awful at all of the above, but at least her tenure was gratifyingly brief. Boris Johnson, on the other hand, he could do human. I mean, he can bring people on, even if you don't like him or like what he stands for or like what he says, his act, his kind of, paw, you know, all that, the ruffled hair schoolboy act that he's got, that is engaging, even if you dislike everything about him. It's a bit hard to get past that. He is quite engaging bit. But Rishi Sunak, there's nothing likable about him. And I bet his resistance to understanding that is that he's never come up against that before. He's never come up against ordinary people who might not actually want him because it would make them money. They don't want to be around him because it would benefit them personally, which I bet he's spent his entire life with people around him who want something from him, or who he wants something from them. Never poor people, never people who are just about getting by. He's completely unfamiliar with people who are just about getting by. He only appears comfortable around the rich, which makes him terrible for his job. He's abysmal at that job.
It is, and him and his like smug and people like that.
Oh,
they have
even
no
worse.
appreciation. They think that if you haven't made a load of money, and been successful, there's something wrong with you.
Yeah, it's worse. It's worse than that, though, Mike. It's worse than that. They think that if you weren't born to a successful family, then that's on you. I mean, I know it sounds ridiculous to say it, but that is the inference of everything that they're about. If you did not get born to rich parents, then that's you not trying hard enough.
Yeah, I quite absolutely agree with you, but just a Tory slogan that is a bit worrying, really, but they could borrow one from Arnie, and their slogan could be, "We'll be back."
We'll be back. Now I'm worried. All right, thanks a lot, Mike.
This is LBC with Nick Abbott.
Hello, boys.
0345 6060 973. OK, here's the news about Big Ben's bong. 2 days ago, Big Ben's hands froze at 9 in the morning for more than an hour before the famous clock sounded the wrong number of bongs in a major malfunction. What? I can't believe it. What, like that episode of Captain Scarlet? Indestructible. When the Mysterons made Big Ben's bong 13 times. Not 12, 13. Remember that, Captain Scarlet? Can't remember how that ended, but probably badly for humankind. I don't recall. Puppets were fine. No puppet was harmed in the making of that programme. Bob says, I've been working hard all week trying to make George cross, but I'm now starting to flag. A listener with the material.
Oh, no.
Dave says, don't you think it's a sign of something gone terribly wrong when you take it for granted that Sunak and the Tories plan to lose the election in a way that will make things more difficult for Labour? Surely if they care about the country, or even if they just care about their own legacy, they should aim to leave the country in as healthy a condition as possible. Don't they want a successful country? Don't they respect the choice the electorate makes? Well, let me think about that.
No.
In that order. Let's have Camden. Hello, Claire.
Hi.
Hello, Claire.
Your presenter colleague tells me every week that stuff for sale, if it's advertised, the advertising should not be misleading.
Yes, that's right.
And if it is misleading, then the customer is entitled to their money back.
A full refund. Yes.
And you are holding the evidence that Smug, when he was advertising Brexit, he misled. His advertising was misleading.
We could have cheaper food, clothing and footwear straight away by getting rid of the protectionist anti-trade tariffs that the EU imposes, and it would be very good for the British people, and it would provide certainty. And I think once there's certainty, the country will begin to reunite.
God, he's just one sort of sad, grey sigh, isn't he?
So, because of his advertising,
yes,
people who bought any shoes, they were misled.
Yeah, cheaper food, clothing, and footwear.
We could have cheaper food, clothing, and footwear
straight away.
At the same time, he owes money for misleading advertising. He also owes money to those who couldn't buy shoes because they were too expensive.
Yes.
So if we formed a neat queue in front of his mansion in Mayfair, would he have enough? About 70 million to give everybody our due.
Yeah. Well, in cash? Probably not. Will you take a cheque?
And also, he owes us some compensation.
Yeah, that's right.
So would he have about 150 million to spend on us?
150 million. Yeah, he could have it by Monday. No problem at all. Don't you worry about that, Claire. He's as good as his word. Excellent thinking there, Claire. I like it. I'll see you in the queue. All right. Cheers, my dear. 0345 6060 973.
Pompous politicians have been running this country for too long.
Pompous politicians have been running this country for too long, said Jacob Me Smug. Can he hear himself? He actually said that out loud. He said that pompous politicians have been running this country for too long.
Voters have had enough.
A mirror to Me Smug's place straight away. Apparently he doesn't have any. Doug says, I don't get it. They're all thick as molasses, but they all seem to be extremely well off. Who's managing their money? Whoever it is, shouldn't they be in charge? That's a good thought. How come they're so great at managing money, but terrible at managing hours? Everything, literally everything else, they're abysmal at. But when it comes to, making themselves rich, oh, boy, they have that nailed down. They're experts. Chris says, you're being too hard on Chris Philp and confusing Congo with Rwanda. He only found out this week that Congo is a country and not a silly party dance. Yeah, I was going to do that joke too. But you beat me to it. Let's see now. Been waiting the longest. It's Salford. Hello, Gaz.
Hi, Nick.
Gaz.
Hiya. Love your show, pal.
Thanks.
Yeah. Just a quick one, Nick. About Europhobes.
Okay.
Yeah. Why are they going after the European Court of Human Rights? Why are they doing that, in your opinion? If you could please explain it, I'd appreciate it. That's all.
I think it's part of the whole Rwanda thing, and I don't think that actually sending people to Rwanda is the game. I think the game is to constantly be stymied in their attempts at doing that. So we are being held back. We're trying to do the right thing by you, but lefty lawyers are holding us back, and enemy of the people judges are holding us back, and the wokerati at the European Court of Human Rights, they're holding us back. I think it's a bit of that. It's part of that whole anti-woke thing, and anything that has the word Europe in it is, of course, like poison to them. No! Yeah. But the other part is that they would actually quite like to complete the Brexit plan of removing all of the rights that we have and replacing them with rights that they want us to have.
Want us to have? The British Bill of Rights. Yeah. What does that entail, though? It
entails, Gaz, that you shut up and sit down and don't question your betters. Those are your rights.
That's it. Thank you, Nick. That's all I wanted to say.
Okay. Yeah, cheers. Another satisfied customer. Yeah. When they talk about deregulation, that's what they mean. They mean taking away all of the hard-won rights. I really mean hard-won rights. All of these things that we take for granted, like a weekend, for instance, like sick pay, for instance, holiday pay, all of these things. All of these ways in which the owners of corporations have to shell out for these irritating humans that actually make all the money. The second that they can replace you with a robot, they will.
Affirmative.
They absolutely will do that. But there are certain rules and regulations and rights that would be an impediment to doing that. Your employer finds you annoying. You are an annoyance. If they could get rid of you and take the money that they give you in wages for themselves, then they would much prefer that. And it might not be very much money that you personally earn, wouldn't make much of a difference to the millionaires at the very, very top. But if you add millions of people's wages together, then suddenly we are talking big money, huge. That, I believe, is what the plan is, if indeed there is such a thing as a plan. That's why Brexit happened. It's because people thought, wow, we're going to make a ton of money here, let's do it. And I don't think you really have to look very much further than that. Because how's Brexit worked out so far?
Dreadful.
Really, really badly. I mean, people often ask the question, I have done many, many times on this station, what are the benefits of Brexit? And nobody can come up with anything at all. I've dedicated entire shows to it. And no one has a single solitary thing that they can say other than waffling on about some vague notion of sovereignty, which doesn't mean anything at all. It's completely, utterly and totally meaningless. But that they go straight to that means that they have absolutely no argument at all. That they can't formulate in their minds any benefits to the thing that they have spent much of their life yearning for. It happened, and they still can't think of anything good about it. But I think better than that, better than a question of what are the benefits of Brexit, how about this? What would you miss if Brexit were taken away from you? And then I think what would follow is an echoing silence. If Brexit got reversed tomorrow, what would you miss? Go on, I double dare you. Name one thing. That's Pulp Fiction right there. I double dare you. Pretty pleased with sugar on top. Tell me what it is. I better not start quoting anymore because I'll make a mistake on the air.
Disgusting.
And say something I shouldn't oughter. Pat says, I have a more reality-based slogan. Conservatives, we are not done with you yet. Well, yeah, I like it, but I'm not sure you can fit it on a lectern. Chris says, I grew up in the 50s and the 60s, and I cannot believe how much the world has changed. I sometimes think I've woken up in a parallel universe because nothing that happens in the world seems to make sense these days, says Chris. Yep. Well, I think if you're looking for sense, then it's going to be a long search. I wouldn't go for sense. It's really simple. Everything does make sense. Just follow the money. And that's it. That's pretty much all you need to know. Where's the money gone? You know, there's this long article about the difference between Britain and France. And Britain used to be more like America. We were going down the American route of winner takes all. Basically, if you were born rich, then you'll just be fine for the rest of your life. If you were born poor, then it's vanishingly unlikely that you will ever not be poor. And if you are poor, then there is no safety net. Do not get ill because you will be left in the road to die. I mean, metaphorically speaking. Sometimes literally, but metaphorically speaking, if you get ill and you are poor, there is no sick pay, no one's going to come to your aid, there is no safety net. And that's why people are generally unhappier in places like America, where it's winner takes all. And that's where we were going. Same with our health service, all of that. Where we used to be going is towards Europe, a more socialist model, which immediately gets people's fur up. Weirdly, it gets people annoyed who would benefit from a more socialist outlook. You know, creating a safety net. And it is not a coincidence that places that do create more of a safety net by using people's by using the taxpayers' money to, like, cosset, essentially, the people, then you get a happier populace. And what's the point of life if it is not to maximise your happiness? And what we have now is the worst of all worlds in this country, because we have the taxation that they have in more socially aware countries, like Denmark and Sweden and places like that, you know, where the perfect people live. We have the taxation of there, but what the taxation provides is what they have in America, which is nothing. You get nothing. So we're paying through the nose. All of this tax, I mean, have you seen your pay slip lately? The tax that comes off it. It's incredible. And what do you get for it? Potholes in the road and a health service that is going to put you on a waiting list that you will die before you get to the front of. Where's all the money gone? Love to know.
Nick Abbot on LBC. Call 0345 6060 973.
Now, wait a minute. I don't like that kind of talk. Now, just stop it. It upsets me.
So they're really doubling down on that the 0 hours contract thing. I cannot believe that they're getting away with this stuff. Their response to the statistic, and it went by really quickly on the news just now, but it was something of the order of women and people of colour in general are twice as likely as white men to be on 0 hours contracts. And the government's response to this was essentially, don't question us, peasant. They just, I mean, they're not trying anymore. They just threw out it benefits workers by being flexible. 0 hours contracts. Oh, yeah. I mean, the people on 0 hours contracts, so you can see it etched all over their face. They're HAPPY, they are. They've never been so blooming happy. But they're not. It's not flexible at all. They have freedom to, what? Be taken advantage of? To have no safety net? Be instantly dismissible? In other words, all the flexibility is for the employer at the expense of the employee, you know.
The little people.
The little people, not leprechauns. That they can just come out with that stuff and just airily dismiss anybody that has their finger up with an issue of complaint. They're just not trying anymore. They don't care. 0345 6060 973. Let's see now. Tooting. Hello, Jan.
Hi, Nick.
Yes,
Good
Jan.
evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, I'm ringing up. I want to share something with you or get into conversation with you because I'm quite overwhelmed by it. What's happening? I've just opened catching up with my mail, and I just
mail.
No, I mean, information about the election on the 2nd of May.
Right.
And I didn't realise there was so much going on. So there's the it's like this is like a lot to study. You know,
yes,
like
you are. You're up to your eyeballs in it. You are overwhelmed. I hear you're overwhelming.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's the mayor. We've got to choose a mayor. Then there's that council. Actually, I don't think I've ever voted. I've never had this information sent to me like this before. Maybe it's
You've
coming
never
up.
voted for your councillor?
No, I voted for the mayor, but the Greater London Assembly.
Yes.
They're the ones, aren't they, who scrutinise the mayor.
When you go down to the polling station, Jan, don't forget your ID, and you'll be gifted pieces of paper of different colour. Just mark next to the slogan, or not the slogan, the logo of your choice, a cross. That's my recommendation to you. Don't have to think it through too much. Just go ahead.
There's 25, I mean, the Assembly.
Yeah.
But, I mean, they've got the ones for each borough.
Mm-hmm.
But there's so many different ones. Some of them are individuals. Some are individuals, some are representing a party.
Yeah.
And
don't think it through too much, Jan, because, I mean, you could spend from now 24 hours a day trying to bone up on each and every candidate. Or you could just say to yourself, I like this or that party, and then mark them all with a cross.
But then there's a borough, and then on top of that, there's the local borough election.
It's all way too complicated. And don't bother with what they promise, because they have absolutely no intention of going through with any of the things that they're promising right now, because, as a caller said earlier on this show, they all say the same thing. Oh, you know, we're all for education and we're all for cracking down on criminals. Well, lots of that. And we'll give you more money.
And everyone's got a different emphasis on what they want to do, what the mayor wants to do for London as well.
Yeah. What would you have the mayor do for London? Tooting in particular.
Tooting?
Yeah.
Well, we've always had... we look at Tooting. I mean, the history is funny because it's such a wealthy borough, but Labour has always...
Tooting is a wealthy borough, is it?
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, you only have to see the grand houses, but I mean, the mayor used to be a Labour MP here. He used to have an office down the road from where I am, and then he became mayor. So Sadiq Khan, I'm talking about, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But
it's just such a weird named place, Tooting. I mean, write it down and look at it. What a word. Tooting.
Yeah, it's
why is it called Tooting?
It's from a French. It used to be named after one of those religious. Is it a bishop or archbishop or something? Who Tootinga or something? It's from a religious early.
Are you making this up?
No, I'm not. I'm very much into local history. Well, I'm learning about it.
So Tooting is French. French.
Yeah, it's to do with some the church.
Yeah.
The religious thing. I think it was French originally. Someone.
Well, I am stunned. Right.
Yeah.
All you people in Tooting want to get out of our country. Information coming in. Tooting has been settled since pre-Saxon times. Well, Saxon?
Rock and roll!
What's this like about the 1960s? That would be pre-Saxon, I reckon. The revolution in British heavy metal. The name is Anglo-Saxon origin, but the meaning is disputed. It could mean the people of Tota, in which context Tota may have been a local Anglo-Saxon chieftain. Alternatively, it could be derived from an old meaning of the verb toot, T-O-U-T, which means to look out. So you are totally wrong about that, Jan. You know nothing about tooting.
No, I didn't. No, I do.
I beg to differ. Nothing you said bears any resemblance to the explanation that I've just given.
But I've got it somewhere here.
Fake news, I think.
No.
Why are you lying to the British people, Jan?
From the huge reference library, we've got local library. They're very strong on
a
local
library.
history.
Blimey, we found one, ladies and gentlemen. They've still got a library in Tooting. I cannot believe it. Does anybody use it other than for the facilities?
The heritage, they got the special heritage library here in Wandsworth. They're very, very keen on local history and everything.
Well, Wandsworth, should have said Wandsworth. Yeah, Tooting. Is that part of Wandsworth?
Yes, of course it is.
What do you mean, of course? Like I'm a moron for not knowing that?
We have a lot of famous people around here. Samuel Johnson used to sit under a tree down the road from where I am, but the tree got uprooted during that hurricane a few years ago.
Was he sitting there at the time? No.
No, Samuel Johnson, the one who did the English dictionary in the
Boris's brother.
Yeah. Wait a minute.
No, I mean, there's lots of famous people were here. Daniel Defoe was in the stocks, not far from here.
What, the actor?
No, Daniel Defoe, the one who I forgot what century it was, but there's lots of history.
Your evidence is starting to fall apart, Jan. I think you're just making this stuff up.
No, I'm not. I mean, we've got underground rivers, a lot of underground rivers around
very
here.
much. Well, you wouldn't want to get any of that water on you, that's for sure.
No, those won't have. They're the ones that are probably the cleanest rivers around.
Yeah, don't go anywhere near them, Jan. Don't get any of that water on your shoes, whatever you do.
But they're underground.
Yeah, it doesn't matter whether they're underground or overground and wobbling free. It don't make never mind. She's going to touch the water. Don't do it, Jan. Trust me. Trust me when I tell you. But thanks a lot, Jan. You've given us a lot to think about. Educational, this show, no?
No.
Robert says, what part of London are you in? I'm in West London and it's not cold. Well, it's been absolutely blooming freezing outside. I don't know what it's like outside now because I'm stuck in an airless booth. I have no clue as to what it's like outside there now. But this last week, I mean, I was in town on Wednesday and I was wearing 3 layers of quite thick wool and the wind was just slicing through like I was wearing nothing at all.
Disgusting.
You believe that? It was punishingly cold out. What's that about? When's it going to get warm? I mean, I know I gave the weather forecast at the beginning of this show. It seems like so long ago. But, and there was no indication that it's going to get warm, like at all. Maybe a little bit in the next couple of weeks and then it's going to go back colder again. Colder again! And raining. When is it going to stop? But you know me, I never complain.
Whinging and whining and moaning.
Pat says, I have a more reality-based slogan. Conservatives, we are not done with you yet. Yeah, I've read that one. That might be my favourite so far. I'm making a small collection. I'll read the winner at the end. P texts, 3 three-word slogans. Wow, you have been doing your work. I know nothing, greed are us, and break the rules. Yeah, they're okay. Not a winning entry, though. Lewisham, Michael.
Yes, it's Nick.
Michael.
There's a couple of points. I was thinking, you could call me a new woke, because I thought myself, I felt a bit betrayed when I heard about the Rwanda deal and that going ahead.
Betrayed in what way?
Well, my dad he wasn't an immigrant, but he came over in the 50s.
Yeah.
And, refugees, and Britain was always a beacon of the world many, many years ago.
But when you say he wasn't an immigrant, that's you're describing what sounds like somebody who emigrated to here.
Well, I don't know, but he came over, he joined, my dad was from the Caribbean, he joined the army.
Right.
And then he married, and then, So,
okay, right.
Yeah. And then I said to myself, well, oh, God, where does that tie into what I was saying? So, and then I said to myself, right, I'm angry. Not because of that, but with what the government are doing and, with the sleaze and the corruption. And then I said to myself, I wonder if there's going to be an uprising here.
No.
And, no, of course not. But, no.
I mean, French people are thinking about having a riot on our behalf, but not here.
And then I said to myself, well, I need a cup of tea and a digestive. Yes.
There are precious few things that are not improved by a cup of tea and a digestive. Am I right?
That's right. I said that to do it, and it just washed over me.
Yeah.
But another thing too, I heard somewhere of how to run a society. So what you do to run a society, you employ, say, 20 people from that society, and then you run the economy from. That's how you do it. You see. So if you ever want to go anywhere overseas and you want to conquer, that's what you do. You see, you get 20 people from that society and you put them in.
As like front people, they do what you tell them. And then they get the flack from the locals.
Yes, that's right.
Right,
yes.
That makes perfect sense.
And I've got one more with Sunak. The PM.
Yeah.
Well, it's like Wizard of Oz. At the end of it, when Dorothy wanted to see the wizard, and at first there's this big, he's pulling all these levers, and there's smoke coming up, and all of a sudden the little dog runs over and pulls the curtain, and you see this wizard. He goes, well, so he was as scared as anything.
So who is behind the curtain in this scenario?
That was the wizard.
Yeah, I know it was the wizard, but in the scenario that you've just described relating to this country, who's behind the curtain?
That would be Sunak.
Rishi Sunak.
Yeah, Richard, yes.
Richard Sunak. Yeah. He really has made an impression, hasn't he? All right, thanks a lot, Michael. Excellent work. Cheers, mate. And I wonder who's pulling the levers from behind the curtain in this country. Who is this all-powerful wizard? He's not bright orange, is he?
Oh, shut up!
By any chance?
This is LBC with Nick Abbott. Call 0345 6060 973. Tweet at LBC. Text 84850.
We're running late.
We are running late. 0345 6060 973. Wayne says, have you noticed that Tichy suit size says boats and not small boats? Yeah, well, the reason for that is that stop the small boats is a bit of it's not a tongue twister exactly, but it doesn't trip off the tongue quite as well as stop the boats. And stop the small boats is a 4-word phrase, whereas you really want a 3-word one.
The country's priority is to stop the boats. And at the same time, I think people know that I'm relentlessly focusing on stopping the boats. And I'm relentlessly focused on stopping the boats. That's one of my 5 priorities, stopping the boats. And I think people know that I'm working night and day to stop the boats. I firmly believe that that's what the country wants me to do. That's what the government is committed to doing, and we're working night and day to stop the boats. That's what the country wants us to focus on, and I will keep at it.
He couldn't be more wrong on every single solitary thing he just said. That is absolutely, totally and completely not what the country wants him to focus on. Not even close. But he knows that. He just thinks that if he keeps telling you that that's what you want, then it will become true. Like he thinks he's the wizard. Benidorm. Hello, James.
Hello, Nicky. How are you doing?
Good, thanks.
You're absolutely right. If they keep telling you that's what you want, that's what you want. If they keep telling you you're an idiot, you'll probably become an idiot.
Yes.
I'm in Benidorm at the moment, living my life. I've taken time off work, and you won't agree with me, but I'm here and I'm enjoying this because I like 0 hours contracts, which you won't agree with.
Well, it depends. It depends. What is the job that you are 0 hours contracted for?
Well, I work in the care sector, Nicky, and I'm quite old.
How old are you?
I'm 66.
That's not that old.
No, well, I had my bus pass, my old age pension. But what it affords me to do is I can say I'm not available. I'm going on holiday for a couple of weeks.
Right.
Now, I can choose who I want to work with, where I want to work,
right,
when I want to work.
Would I be right in thinking that you have a bit of money, James?
No. Well, you know,
Yes.
only pence that I've worked hard for. Only pence.
Yeah, it doesn't matter whether you worked hard for them or not. Do you have a bit of money? Are you comfortably well off? Yes.
Well, compared to most, yes.
Right, compared to most people on 0 hours contracts, because that's the crucial part. Most people on 0 hours contracts do not have any savings. They don't have any pension. They haven't gone through life and come
I'm
out.
Lucky. I work.
Yeah, exactly right. So that's you're not the average person on 0 hours contract. The average person on 0 hours contract is somebody who is working in a fast food joint, or they're working in a warehouse, or they're on mopeds delivering pizzas. It's stuff like that. And those people haven't got any money, and neither will they ever have any money because of the contracts that they're on. And they will have no safety net, and it's just a miserable existence for everybody except the employer who's raking in all the money.
But neither am I somebody who's born into wealth or hard wealth.
No, well, I'm not debating that with you. I'm not questioning that, James. What I'm saying is your financial position now is secure.
Yes, you're right.
Exactly. Right, so it doesn't make any difference about the 0 hours contracts for you. It's everybody else who is suffering from 0 hours contracts because that's all they can get. That's the problem.
I totally agree. If that's what you're forced into doing, then I have every sympathy with you.
Right.
And I will back you up all the way.
Okay. What's the weather like in Benidorm there, James?
Well, it's not as hot as I thought it would be. It's quite cool.
Is it?
Yeah, it's not great.
Cool. What? Describe cool.
Yeah.
I mean, do you have to put on your hat, coat, scarf and gloves to leave the house? No. Right, so that's not what I would call cool then.
So if you get the sun, it's okay.
Right.
If you're in the shade in the wind, it's not brilliant.
Right. Still, just around the corner, it's going to be too hot for you to go outside, I bet.
No, it's not so hot.
No.
But you can still wear the T-shirt and shorts.
So what do you miss about Britain?
Not much at the moment. It's a bit...
Not even food items? Food items, must be. A couple of things.
Oh, the food is great. I love to eat fish. And, whatever time of the year you come here... I love the food, yeah.
Yeah, they got great food there, yes. But it's not it's not British food, though. But there must be some British food items that you miss.
No, I don't come here to eat sausage and chips.
No?
I'm enjoying lots of fish, lots of seafood.
Right. So you can survive on paella.
Oh, I don't want to come out here and go to an Irish pub and eat bloody
You can have pie and you can have pie and chips at your Irish pub. Yeah, exactly right. Other than that, you're on tapas. Those big fat prawns in a lot of butter and garlic. I'll have 2 plates, please. Excellent work. Thanks a lot, James. Three 4-5 6060 973. Let's see if I can just squeeze one in. Brussels. Hello, Emma.
Yeah, hi Nick. So I was just talking to the lovely lady who answered the phone, and though they're not coming after me, you might be able to hear the police there. So I was just reflecting on the St George's Day celebrations, if that's the right word.
Not really.
And the fact, or commemorations, or the fact that some guy from not our country did something at some point. But no, I just thought it's interesting how the people there decrying, let's leave the European Convention of Human Rights, and actually the whole point of them having the freedom to assemble and their freedom to speak is embedded in
the
that
very thing that they want rid of. Yeah, exactly.
And it's kind of very interesting how we, I don't know if people quite get that. And, you've probably seen a lot of tabloids have been using the freedom of speech right within the convention as part of their claims in law courts to say, yeah, we could say that about so-and-so and so-and-so.
Yes.
I just don't think people kind of made that connection. And the Human Rights Act, all it did was just put it in UK law. It was already there. The law, judges were already using it as part of their assessment.
What people should think about if they are with the government in taking away human rights is the first question they should ask themselves is, am I a human? And if the answer is yes, then you should leave those rights alone. If you're not a human, of course, then no problem, to carry on. Emma, gotta go. Thanks for that. 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 Gotta go. Thanks for that.